Welcome to the More Podcast with Ava and Najee, where we are manifesting original rich bitch experiences. Each week, we bring you travel reviews, wellness advice, and general millennial musings with a level of refinement. What level? It fucking depends. Hello, Najee.
Hey.
Welcome to another pod, another week, another pod.
Yes, another episode, another day to talk about all the stuff we love to talk about.
That is a great day.
I know, it's one of my favorite days.
Yes, I would say normally it's Wednesday, but today's not Wednesday.
Today's not Wednesday, to be honest. I can't even keep up with the days these days.
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
It's a summer Friday. We're hanging out together again.
Together again.
So fun.
Mm-hmm.
And today we are gathered to talk about our self-care top picks.
Yes, self-care is like one of my favorite things to do, and my favorite excuse to do absolutely anything I want to do that I have no business doing.
That is the thing about it. I feel like the term self-care is so popular now,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so wide-reaching because if you think about it, anything could fall into the category of self-care.
Absolutely.
You want to have a glass of wine, self-care.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get a manicure, self-care.
Yep.
You want to take a nap, self-care.
Love it. 3 of my favorite things.
So I think, the fact that it is just this sort of catch-all can be helpful in a way
Mm-hmm.
because I really think it ushers us into this concept of self-care can be anything, no matter how big or small.
Yes.
But really, it's just taking a moment to bring awareness to how you're currently feeling and something that you could do in that moment to help you feel a little better.
Yeah, I'm excited to kind of talk about exactly what some of our favorite picks are because I think that they have a lot of use cases and application. And
Mhm.
it's not just something that, we do just because we want to do it, but it's something that actually kind of aids our mental health on a day-to-day basis
Yeah.
and kind of keeps us operating at our highest vibrancy if we can.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And it is one of those things that's like so foundational. And for me, I feel like if I have not taken care of myself, I literally can't do anything else.
Facts. There are definitely things that I do that I know keep me sane and keep me zen and keep me like balanced.
Yeah.
And when I'm not doing those things or I'm out of balance, I can definitely sense it. And then I have to kind of check myself and employ some of these techniques to like really bring myself back down to earth. So I'm kind of really excited to hear some of yours
Yes.
and kind of talk about how we kind of keep ourselves balanced.
Yes.
Because it's a really important thing to do.
And inspire maybe some different modalities of self-care for our listeners.
Hopefully.
We'll see. Okay, so we're going to just go one by one. So we each have our top 5
Mhm.
favorite self-care picks. And so I'll start and I'll
Okay.
share my first one.
Perfect.
And then we'll just bounce back and forth.
Cool.
Okay. So first and foremost for me is hydration. And so I've kind of ordered mine from like most accessible to maybe like a little more like bougie high-end moment, right? Because there's range. So I think first and foremost is hydration. And for me, I try to drink a gallon of water a day.
Wow.
Yes.
I love that.
It's a lot of water, but it's a practice that I've been building up to over the last several years. And I will say I definitely go in phases with being optimally hydrated. I find that like in the wintertime when the weather is colder, like I'm just naturally not as thirsty.
Right.
So it's harder for me in the wintertime, but now it's summertime, it's hot, we're sweating. And so hydration is definitely my first key to wellness this time of year. And so what I do or what I like to do is each morning after I wake up, I have 32 ounces of water with a whole lemon and like a quarter teaspoon of sea salt. And this is something that one of my friends actually recommended to me. She's a nutritional therapy practitioner because she helped me understand there's a difference between drinking water and also like hydrating. Because if you just drink plain water all day, you can almost dilute yourself in a different way.
Okay.
So the lemon and the salt is basically like a good electrolytes boost. And so that's the way I start every day. And I really love just having that routine first thing in the morning when I wake up. And then after I've chugged my water, then I get my first cup of coffee. So that's the reward.
Okay.
But the hydration has been a game changer from, I would say, like a mental clarity standpoint, feeling fuller overall throughout the day. So when I'm drinking more water, I'm not always as hungry,
Right.
which is great. And just feeling like I'm doing something good for myself.
So now, did you have to work up to drinking a gallon a day?
Yes. Yes, yes,
Like, what
yes.
was that process like?
Um, you're gonna laugh because I tally my water intake like on a
Mm-hmm.
post-it note.
Yep.
And so I have a 16-ounce water bottle that I love that I carry around.
Mm-hmm.
And so in order to hit a gallon, I need to have 8 of those a day.
8 16 ounce.
Hmm.
Got you.
So it's a literal tracking process. When I was first starting out, like it felt like really hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of water.
Yeah. I mean, to drink it every day or even almost every day.
Yeah. So I would say I probably plateaued, and in the wintertime too, like I mentioned, I drink a little less.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll plateau around like 5 bottles a day,
Mm-hmm.
but when I do hit the 8, it's like gold star. I'm amazing, and it's almost just like a like a dopamine rush. It's like check, hit a goal for the day.
Awesome.
But yeah, I would say it took me a while to work up to the full gallon for sure.
Okay, definitely. So if people wanted to embark on this journey, it's always better to start small and work your way up.
Yes. And your bladder will adjust with time as well.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, so my first one eh, is honestly a little bit more controversial than I thought, and I'll explain why in a little bit.
Okay.
But sleep is honestly how I stay like sane, level-headed, and
Hmm.
kind of like just really just keep my stuff together. I gotta keep my stuff together. One of my really, really good friends, her name is Beza. She recently told me that I need to check my sleep privilege only
Hmm.
because I mean, when I fall asleep, I'm a pretty heavy sleeper. So even if I hear something at night, like I kind of just dismiss it and go back to sleep. And I also can sleep like throughout the day. It kind of just helps me reset whenever I feel a little mentally overcharged, which, working regular jobs can definitely do. Working with clients can definitely make you kind of exhausted mentally. So
Hmm.
that's kind of one way that I do reset. Also, since I typically wake up around 5 or 6 in the morning on most mornings, that's like really early.
It is
Um,
early.
and I'd have to go to bed by like maybe 9 or 10 o'clock, 11 at the latest to get as much sleep as I really need. And
Hmm.
since that doesn't always happen, sometimes those like quick midday naps are a really great way to kind of boost and recharge myself. Or
Hmm.
even if it's like right after work, take a little nap and then get back up and do some more work or cook or doing something like that. But overall, sleep really is like so important to me
Yeah.
because it just helps me level set. It helps me kind of clear my mind a little bit. And honestly, it's almost a remedy for me as well. If they had to tell me any type of bad news or anything that's going to irritate me, please do it at night. Because once I go to sleep and wake up, I'm pretty much over it. Like, it's
Oh,
like I'm pretty much over it at that point, and I'm in solution-based mode. Like, what do I have to do? How can I fix this? And what's the best option to do it? So it has a lot of use cases for me that really, really, really help me stay sane.
okay. So then how many hours do you aim for a night?
If I can get 7 to 8, I'm a happy camper.
Hmm.
7 to 8 will get me to where I need to go.
Yeah, I'm a 9 hours girl.
Got
I
you.
need a full 9 uninterrupted, solid sleep to feel like I've rested.
Got you. Got you.
But I know that most, and the most recommendations is like 7 to 8 hours.
Mm-hmm. Like I don't mind breaking up my sleep schedule. It just depends on like how the day is going, what life is giving you that day. Sometimes you can't really sleep because you're stressed or there's something on your mind. You have to catch up on some other days. It's like nothing is very life isn't a straight line. There's no real black and
Right.
white. So you do what you can. But I think that's why sleep is just so important. I don't think it is like focused on enough in our society of like
Mm.
go, 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 achieve, 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 sleep when you're dead kind of thing. I'm like,
Yes.
I don't know about that because if I don't sleep, then someone will die. So let's think about it that way instead.
Hope it's not me. Yes, I'm with you. Sleep is top-notch self-care.
Hmm.
Next one on my list is facial rolling.
Mm.
And so this is something that I do with a gemstone roller. So I have a quartz gemstone roller. It's very pretty and pink.
Ooh.
And I love this tool. I use it in the morning when I wake up and at night before I go
Hmm.
to bed. And the facial rolling is really, really good for lymphatic drainage.
Hmm.
So it helps get things moving. And it's also good just to like stimulate the muscles in your face.
Yeah.
So for me, when I'm like stressed out, or if I've been listening honestly to my AirPods for too long, like my jaw gets really tight and clenchy. And I found that the facial roller is a really nice way to loosen up those muscles.
Mm.
So I have a little routine that I do. Basically, after I've hydrated for the day, I have my coffee, I'll wash my face, and then I'll put on my lotions, my serums, and then I'll use the roller. So it actually helps to absorb product as well.
Oh.
So it helps it kind of like seep into your skin.
Hmm.
So I do that morning and night, and it feels really nice. And it also just like helps kind of depuff, um, get things moving. And I think it just brings more life to your face.
Yeah.
So that's something that I've added to my self-care routine that I do pretty regularly as well. And I just love it.
I love that because, fun fact,
Yes.
for anyone that watches The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, on
Mhm.
one of Sutton's iconic moments, she pulled out a facial roller
Okay.
when she was stressed and started rolling her face.
When she was
And,
stressed.
and she was like, this helps calm me down. So I'm like, if you do it and Sutton does it, it must be something
It
top
must
tier.
be good.
Oh,
I think you'd like it.
I mean, I'm gonna try it. I've been thinking about it ever since that iconic episode that Sutton starred in. And now that we're talking about it, I'm definitely about to get one.
I can see you facial rolling for sure.
Oh yeah, I'll keep it in my little pouch. And whenever I get stressed, I'll just hmm, and add it to my morning routine.
In public. Just
Oh,
gonna stop and facial roll real quick.
like I feel like after this, we're gonna have to watch that scene because it just was so funny. I feel like everyone had the same reaction, like, what?
She has it with her.
Like,
That's
what's
funny.
happening right now?
Yeah.
But it seems like a top tier self-care routine that both you and Sutton employed, so I approve. Boop.
Green stamp of approval.
Absolutely.
What's your next one?
So my next one is pretty basic and standard that some people love, some people hate, but it's gonna be exercise. I'm sorry. It's gonna be exercise. I did mention earlier that I typically get up at 5 or 6 in the morning, ideally to work out, and that's only because sometimes the gym gets crowded. I don't like crowds and people around me, so I
Mm,
try to like beat all of that. And
yeah.
I know for myself, the later it gets in the day, the least likely I'm gonna go.
Yes.
But I think the whole exercise piece definitely helps release a lot of like really good endorphins. Similarly to like you finishing your gallon of water a day, I feel
Hmm.
like whenever I get a good workout in, it is like, wow, I've done this for today. I feel like I've accomplished something. Ideally, it's in the morning, so that if everything else goes bad, at least I did this. At least I
Mm,
stuck to this
yeah.
particular habit. And I don't know anyone who's ever said that after a workout, they feel absolutely terrible. Like, even if it wasn't a great workout, I feel like one thing I've heard is a short workout is better than no workout. So whether it is walking around your neighborhood, whether
Yeah.
it's playing with your dog, whether it's just I don't know, running on the treadmill, riding your bike, I feel like something as simple as that can definitely help release those endorphins, make you feel good about yourself, make you feel accomplished. And it's really great for your body as well.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I do to stay sane. And if I'm like off of that routine, I start to feel a little kooky.
So what kind of workout specifically do you do at 5:30 in the morning?
It's typically a lot of weightlifting.
Okay.
And every week I try to dedicate at least one of those days to either like yoga or cycling or something just kind of cardio based.
Mm,
Because I love actually riding my bike. I love cycling.
yeah.
When I used to live in Philadelphia, I rode my bike to work every day. It was literally the highlight of my life. I remember specifically so vividly saying, I love doing this so much just because you got to see the sights and you're getting exercise and stuff like that. It has a lot of additional benefits, just like exercise and stuff.
Yeah. It's so funny you say like you've never heard anyone feel shitty after workout.
I've never heard that in my life.
Okay. I have felt shitty after workout.
Like you worked out and said, man, I wish I didn't work out.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
I used to do the very, very early morning thing too.
Mm-hmm.
So I get up at 5:20, throw on my yoga gear, drive to my nearest yoga studio for 6 a.m. class.
Mm-hmm.
And then from 6 to 7 a.m., living my best life, hot yoga, waking up, shower, and then it's like you rush, you like shower, drive to work. By the time I get to work, I
Mm-hmm.
feel so terrible
Mm-hmm.
because what I realize is it's just too early for me. I'm not a morning person,
Mm-hmm.
and for so many years I tried to force that morning workout because I think society really rewards the idea of the morning workout,
Yeah,
and it's not for everyone,
it's not.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I actually have felt, and I think too with the heat like that early in the morning in a hot yoga class,
Mm-hmm.
like it was just too much for my body.
Yeah.
But I fought that for a really long time because I thought this is good, it's healthy for me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
moving, I'm exercising. It's supposed to make me feel good. So why don't I?
Yeah.
And I'd continue to do it because to your point, it's like, okay, I can guarantee first thing in the morning I'm going to get to class. No one
Mm-hmm.
can interrupt my schedule at 5:30 in the morning, right? Like no
Yeah.
one can interrupt that. They'll try to interrupt at 7 or 8 or 9 a.m., but they
Yes.
can't touch 5:30. And so I don't know, like in a lot of ways, I try to force that and make that work for me. And so I just share that because if you're someone who feels like the societal recommendation, or again, like the hustle reward, like those things don't work for you,
Mm-hmm.
like that's just a permission moment to be like, yeah, this isn't for me.
Oh
And it
yeah.
doesn't mean the workout, maybe like later in the day would be better.
I'm so glad you said that because I feel like with anything self-care related and wellness related, at the end of the day, you gotta do what's best for you,
It's true.
and
It's true.
sometimes that takes trial and error to figure that out. Like you tried the 6 a.m., you said,
Yeah.
this isn't really working for me based on my schedule right now, and you found other ways around it. And I
Yeah.
think that's one thing about self-care is that's very unique to everyone. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it does kind of take that trial and error piece to figure out, okay, what's working and what doesn't. And that's
Yeah,
how I know, like the later on it gets in the day, the
for
less
sure.
likely I'm gonna go.
For
So I think
sure.
that's why I kind of push myself to go early. But also, full disclosure, I work from home. So
Mm-hmm.
my schedule is a lot more flexible.
Yeah.
And not everyone has that. Some people have kids, some people have other obligations,
Mm-hmm.
that they have to work around. So like you said, like I said, you gotta find out what works best for you.
The workout that works for you.
Uh, let's trademark that.
Damn.
Gym coming soon.
Oh my God. Gym coming soon. No way.
I don't think I could be a gym owner either.
That's a past life experience.
Mm,
So, okay, my third one, my third top care self-care pick
hmm.
is morning pages.
Ooh, what's that?
And morning pages is a specific journaling practice. And it's essentially stream of consciousness writing,
Hmm.
where you write 3 pages full of journal entry, stream of consciousness, whatever flows out.
Hmm.
Like you just keep writing, writing, writing until you hit your 3 pages.
Hmm.
And this is something that I learned as in a book club last winter, where we read through, it's called the Artist's Way.
Hmm.
And this specific author speaks to this morning pages practice.
Hmm.
And the whole idea is that when you can release like all the conscious and subconscious just like shit going on in your brain,
Yeah.
you're able to then clear your mind to actually be productive.
Hmm.
So if you're someone who's an overthinker, like moi, It's really helpful because a lot of times I don't even realize all of the things that I'm thinking about.
Hmm.
And if I don't do this practice of the journaling, it really interrupts my productivity throughout the day. And I've come to really love it. And so this is something that I also now do pretty regularly. And last week I didn't do my morning pages and I felt like pent up. Like I had pent up just like a dumpster full of thoughts in my brain
Yeah.
with nowhere to like put them out. So I've actually started doing this. Also, I've been trying it at nighttime
Okay.
because again, if you're an overthinker like me, sometimes falling asleep is also hard.
Hmm.
So it's basically just write whatever's on your mind and then like move on. I realized at one point I was like curating my journal entries. Like I'd be like, this is a nice piece of paper, and I'm going to use this very nice pen to write on it. So I want to say something that sounds good.
Like you were writing towards an audience
Yeah.
versus writing out exactly what you're supposed to, writing out
Yeah.
all your thoughts so you can be productive.
Yeah.
Mm.
So prior to morning pages, my journaling was very curated. And after like morning pages, I feel like it is just like the process of like letting go, which has helped me in my work
Mm.
and it's helped me fall asleep at night. And so I'm into it. So I've been doing that now for 6 months
Oh,
and I like it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because journaling is not only my third self-care tip, but it's
Hmm.
something that I've been doing for a very long time.
Yeah. You've been journaling like since childhood.
Yeah, I mean, I started journaling when I was almost 14 years old.
Mm.
Like, imagine this like young kid, lots of emotions, lots of thoughts. And it honestly turned out to be the best way to kind of get those thoughts out of your mind, to your point.
Hmm.
So I've been doing that pretty regularly, I guess over the past 15 plus years now.
It's a long time.
That is a long time. There's a lot of entries there. And it's always fun to kind of go back and revisit where you were at certain points in time, revisit different writing styles. Like sometimes I feel like I was writing better at 16 than I am at 31. But it's definitely been one of those outlets to really kind of keep me sane so that I don't have a lot of those pent up thoughts.
Yeah.
Now, I don't do it every day. I don't do it every week. I do it whenever I feel the need. Like, so if I do have a lot of thoughts like swirling around in my head, typically I'll try to organize them a little bit and then get them out on paper so I know exactly like why I'm feeling this way, where it is coming from, and how it's affecting me right now. But I also write about just like really big events.
Mm.
Maybe a day that I had a really, really good time that I don't want to
Yeah.
forget, a big trip, new adventures, I don't know, new projects.
Yeah.
I like to document all of that because one day, if I ever become somewhat notable, I'll definitely write a memoir, and I think these entries will help. And I just really, really recommend it to anyone who's an overthinker like us,
Yeah.
anyone who finds himself in highly emotional states at time, and anyone who might like work themselves to the point of mental exhaustion.
Mm.
I think that's one thing we ideally would like to avoid. And I think journaling helps.
Yeah. So then, okay, so you refer back to yours. So do you journal in notebooks? Like, what's your cataloging process?
So I journal on this one website that I used to go on all the time back in this day. Now I only visit the website to journal, and I actually need to like transfer a lot of those entries over into something that's a little bit more stable and safer. Because I'm like, if that site goes down, then I'm
Mm.
SOL. But it's online, it's typing. I know a lot of people rather like have that pen to paper and journal, you know, in a notebook.
Hmm.
I don't know, just typing and doing it online has just kind of been my process for such a long time.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know if I really feel like switching it.
So then is it cataloged by date? Like you could go be like, oh, where was that entry from 3 years ago?
Yep, exactly. That's exactly. I'm like, okay, well, what time was I feeling this, or around when was that? And if I can pinpoint a date, I can find it.
Hmm.
If I can't pinpoint a date, if I could, I might be able to find it by like the title. Like if it's something relating to a particular trip, and let's say I went to Mexico or something like that. If I type in Mexico, I should be able to find it.
Oh, I see.
If I
Like
can't remember the
keywords.
exact date. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
That's really fun.
I feel like, have you ever tried the stream of consciousness writing?
With what you were just talking about,
Yeah.
I think that would stress me out.
No,
I think
like
that would
it
stress
would
me
be
out.
so good for you.
Oh gosh. Uh,
I mean,
uh,
it's like a totally opposite journaling type. You know what I mean?
hmm.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, writing 3 pages,
Mhm.
anything that I can think of.
Yeah.
What if I can't think of anything? What if nothing's on my mind at that moment in time?
No, it's there's always things. Stream of consciousness.
Hmm, I'll consider it. I'll consider it. Sometimes I feel like my mind's super blank, and sometimes it's on overload. And I guess that's why I write when I write sometimes. Like if I'm on overload, then I'll write if it's like if nothing's coming. And there's also times when I write and I don't feel like writing. Like I'm like, I write, I
Really?
want to talk about XYZ,
Yeah.
but I'm just like, I really don't want to do this. Like I don't have the emotional or mental capacity to really bring up these thoughts and put them down.
Mm,
Have you ever felt like that before?
probably.
Mm,
Probably.
it's such a
But I
weird
don't know that
feeling.
I then am aware that I'm having those thoughts. Like I probably just like wouldn't journal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I just naturally avoid it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where like I try to like force it. I'm like, let me just get these out because this is how I'm feeling
Yeah.
and I want to get it out. But I'm just like, I'm emotionally exhausted or whatever I want to write about is emotionally exhausting.
Hmm.
And another self-care tip, if you don't feel like it or if it doesn't feel intuitive to you in that moment, maybe you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
And it's okay to like just to stop what you're doing and come back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. So two different perspectives on journaling.
Yeah. I love that. Like it's always fun to hear other perspectives on things that you do regularly and how
Hmm.
people kind of employ the tactics that you employ too. I love it.
Me too. We're so cute. Look at us in our journals, processing thoughts and emotions.
Overthinkers Anonymous.
Millennials are us. Welcome to the right side of 30.
The best side of
Or should I
30.
say 22 and 19?
Yes, I'm 19.
Okay. My next self-care pick is supplements. So I have a pretty significant supplement routine. And I would say this is something, again, that I kind of started a few years ago now. So I feel like a lot of my self-care picks are very well-established routines, which I love for me because at one point I didn't have any routines.
Mhm.
And so it's kind of fun actually in reflecting right now to just think about like how far I've come with these things and how regular they've just become part of my daily life and
Yeah.
how I don't even really think about it. In the morning, I'm hydrating, then I'm doing this, I'm doing that, the other thing. So that's kind of cool. But one of those things is supplements. As a kid, I had asthma, I had allergies, and I was treated with a lot of steroids, inhalers.
Oof.
And at the time, like that was the best solution. But when I got older, I really didn't want to be on prescription meds anymore.
Hmm.
So I kind of started this process where I was working my body off of meds and supplements for different things just became really helpful. And so I would say my supplement routine varies again seasonally
Hmm.
because in the winter time there are extra things that I think a lot of us like to boost up on
Yeah.
versus the summertime we might not need as much. So I would say my non-negotiable supplements are first and foremost vitamin D
Hmm.
and specifically a very high quality vitamin D that has K3 in it for absorption.
Hmm.
And I live in the north, so I take 5,000 ICU a day every single day.
Hmm.
And that's pretty much, oh, you know what? I should preface that I am not a health professional. So this is not official medical advice. Please do not take it as such.
Yes.
However, if you're interested, a high grade vitamin D has been like the first and most life-changing supplement. So even if you're not into like big supplement routines, like I cannot recommend this enough because vitamin D gets depleted through a lot of things that we do every day, like alcohol consumption, obviously not being outdoors, absorbing sunlight. A lot of things can detract from vitamin D, and we need really high levels to be functioning properly.
Right.
So that one's my non-negotiable. Also, a B vitamin has really helped my energy levels. So I used to have pretty low energy,
Mm-hmm.
and a bit of like chronic fatigue. And so a B vitamin is another game changer for me.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my best friends, she like just discovered vitamin B the other week, and she's like, "Oh my God, I feel so good." I'm like, welcome, welcome to the supplement life.
Wow.
In addition to that, what else? I like to take spirulina,
Mm-hmm.
which is a superfood. It's an algae.
Yep.
And specifically, I like to take it in tablet form
Mm-hmm.
because I've also mixed it in water, and that's like drinking a swamp.
Yeah,
It's
I can
so
imagine.
gross. So
I
gross.
can imagine. I've seen like kind of like the powdery forms of it. I'm
Yeah,
like, ugh.
I used to do that until I found something called energy bits, which are very fancy spirulina tablets. But that's something else that I take for energy. So for me, I'm really focused around energy. Oh, and I also have a special coffee that has reishi mushroom in it.
Mhm.
So I like to think that all of those things make me a healthier and more productive human.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, vitamin D is like my number one.
Your number one. I started taking vitamin D when I had injured like my foot, and needed to like regrow the bone there. And then my doctor was like, yeah, take vitamin D, and I just never stopped.
Yeah.
But vitamin D and spirulina, I think energy is one thing that I've kind of been tugging back and forth with and trying to figure out like why am I so tired throughout the day? Why do I feel exhausted?
Mm-hmm.
I think, and we had this conversation, I think once I stopped taking my pre-workout, that helped a lot.
Yeah.
Just because just that crash, I didn't realize how intense it was.
Yeah.
I think that has helped a lot, but I will definitely add vitamin D and those fancy spirulina tablets and
Mm-hmm.
see how I feel. Because like I have so much to do. And sometimes I just feel so mentally exhausted after work.
Yeah.
I can always use a pick me up. So I'm down to try anything.
Yeah. They're awesome.
Awesome. Okay. Supplements. Step up the supplement game. My next one is getting out in nature.
Mm,
Getting out in nature.
nature boy.
I mean, I'm basically a professional hiker.
Yeah.
Okay, I use professional hiker very loosely because I like to do like mountain trails and stuff, but basically a professional hiker. But just something about being outside in the sun,
Mm-hmm.
getting that vitamin D, and just also just out amongst, things that grow from the earth.
Yeah.
In a way, it helps to ground me.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can't, jet set off to another country to experience another culture, I think being out in nature kind of helps put things into perspective and make me realize there's so much more to life, this earth, this planet, than the things that we go through on a day-to-day basis with our relationships, with work, with stress, with insecurities, all these other things. So it really helps me just stay level-headed. And it's kind of another way to get a little bit of exercise if you're walking a trail or something like that. So I feel like if you're able to get out, be amongst the elements, and really kind of breathe some fresh air, or as fresh as it can be,
Yeah.
being in some of these cities. I think it definitely does the body and the mind very, very well. And I think it's something that is underrated,
Yeah.
just being out and about. And you'd be amazed about how much that can kind of help just your thought process, your way of thinking, and maybe your overall health too.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I feel like also just for like anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
just being outside. So I try to go outside first thing in the morning with my coffee and literally just put my feet in the grass. And that's a really great grounding practice that I've enjoyed. And it just helps me feel more at ease. And, we both spend a lot of time like on our laptops for work.
Mm-hmm.
and indoors, even working from home.
Yes.
And there's definitely something to that. And I think if you have outdoors access, it's really easy to take it for granted. I feel like I notice it when I don't have outdoor access,
Yeah.
like I'm staying in a hotel or something where it's not easy for me to just walk outside and put my feet in the grass.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. There's something very therapeutic about nature.
I love it. Like I'm fortunate enough to be not too far away from Stone Mountain, which is like not as big as the mountains in say Denver, but it's something that I can walk up. One day I will run up it without, almost dying,
Goals.
working towards it. But you get high above, the standard elevation, the wind is blowing, the sun's shining, you have a really nice view. And for a brief second, life just doesn't feel as serious. Like there's just so much more going on.
Yeah.
And eventually I'll probably get out to Blue Ridge and can do some of the trails up there too.
Have you seen the new photo of the universe that NASA circulating around?
Mm-mm.
Okay. It's beautiful. It just came
Mm.
out like 2 days ago. But basically, they're saying if you look at the photo, put 1 grain of sand on your finger and hold it at arm's distance, like that's how big we are. So it's just like the same concept of like there's just so much more to life. And it's like having that perspective is so helpful.
Oh yeah. I feel like I say every day with like work, I'm like, I'm not curing cancer. There are many other people that
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them. So it's not that deep.
And we love them for that.
Yes, we
Yeah.
do. Yes, we do. Amen.
Okay, so my last pick is probably my favorite like splurge, if you will.
Hmm.
And so this will make sense like where I was going with the supplements. But my top care pick is acupuncture. So getting acupuncture treatments and cupping has been something that I have absolutely loved. Traditional Chinese medicine and Eastern medicine is just very different from Western clinical medicine. And it's something that I've really been gravitating towards in the last 5 years. Part of that journey was wanting to wean myself off of prescription medications.
Mhm.
And so I started seeing my acupuncturist, Jala Shri. She's incredible.
Ooh.
Years ago. And so the thing that's really cool about acupuncture is you can use it to treat a load of different conditions, but you can also use it to treat like nothing at all. Like it can also just be something that you do that just feels good
Hmm.
for general vitality, if you will. But I absolutely love this. It's helped me wean off of my allergy medications. I don't take any. I don't take any inhalers anymore. I feel like it's just helped really regulate my system. I've also used it for post-COVID recovery treatment. That's been really helpful. And so I'm just frankly obsessed with acupuncture. Um, I try to go once a month.
Once a month, okay.
And if you're going for a specific like treatment plan for
Hmm.
something, your acupuncturist would probably recommend like a more frequent schedule.
Hmm.
But I'm kind of on like a maintenance plan where it's something that I just love to do once a month. I feel so good. I also get like the best night of sleep after acupuncture
Hmm.
ever. So like that alone is worth it.
Definitely.
But that's something that is now in my self-care toolbox
Hmm.
that I absolutely love and can't even imagine my life without it.
Wow. So is it something that you might recommend someone look into if they are starting to have maybe joint pain or,
Mhm.
as we ascend
Joint
into our
pain.
30s,
Oh,
the
it's great.
knees, the backs, the shoulders, I mean, we don't got the mega knees like we used to. So
Joint pain.
I'm not saying that I do, but the knees might crack if I bend down. I mean, I'm not going to try it right now, but I have heard this a couple of times as people start to kind of shift into their 30s, their mid 30s, their later 30s. I think, is that something that, might be helpful for people like them?
Perhaps. I mean, I have never inquired about acupuncture treatment for joint pain.
Hmm.
So I don't know for sure, but I would bet to say yes,
Hmm.
because there really are so many so many things that it can be used to help treat. And again, I am not a medical professional.
Mm-hmm.
This is just my experience
Yeah.
and what I've come to learn in developing this relationship with my acupuncturist.
Awesome. I mean, we love multi-purpose treatments.
Yes.
If something can help you sleep at night, make you feel better,
Yeah.
also help alleviate some of them joint pains, get them mega knees back, I'm all for it. All for it.
Yes. It's well, and people always like because it's like they've seen like the photos where it's like you have like these needles like sticking out of your face or like sticking out of your body. And yes, that does happen. However, you can't really feel them and you don't really see it because you're like relaxed, your eyes are closed, you're resting. And so if, for instance, someone's been wanting to try it, but they think it looks scary, I would say, I understand. I
Hmm.
also thought that. However, when you're having the experience, like you don't even notice that there's like micro needles sticking out of specific pressure points in your body.
It doesn't hurt, does it?
No, it
Okay.
doesn't. It does not hurt at all.
Okay. Perfect. Sign up for acupuncture, everyone.
Or at least just try it. If you're someone that's like,
Yeah.
into like testing out to our point, different modes of self-care. Some people like to get a massage, some people like to get a facial. I love to get acupuncture.
Yes. I love a good spa day now I think about it.
Now that you mention it.
Now that you mention I love a good spa day.
What's your fifth pick?
So my fifth and final one will be the practice of mindfulness.
Okay.
If you don't know what mindfulness, it's basically just the act of being very present in the now and the here and now,
Hmm.
not really thinking about what happened, not really thinking about what you have to do later, but really kind of acknowledging exactly what you're feeling now, where you are right now, and just like focusing on that. And I use that concept in a number of different applications, more so to really kind of identify whenever I'm feeling anxious,
Mm.
because it helps me kind of like think through exactly why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, what is the purpose, and it kind of helps me come up with a solution to calm down and able to refocus on whatever I need to be doing at that time, whether it
Hmm.
be work, whether it be taking care of myself and making sure I'm operating at my highest level. Being able to really identify where I'm at in the present, why I'm there, and if it's something that I need to overcome, coming up with solutions to help. Also, that kind of couples with being able to kind of practice gratitude in a way too, because even when I'm like having a really, really, really good moment, kind of like when I told you when I was riding my bike to school or to work earlier, and just really being able to be like, wow, I'm very appreciative of being able to do this right now.
Mm.
Um, and I'm so lucky I get to do this. It just really kind of elevates my mood.
Yeah.
So, some people call it over intellectualizing your feelings, and I'm just like, no, I'm just like really kind of trying to be in tune with like where I'm at now, why I'm there, and anything else that needs to come from that.
So would you say that's different from meditation? Or is it a form of meditation? Or
Practicing mindfulness can definitely be a form of meditation. I think the first time that I actually kind of went through a mindfulness session, that's actually how they build it. It's like
mm,
a form of meditation. I feel like it was a little less intense because I feel like a lot of times with meditation, they try to ask you to clear your mind, where in mindfulness, they just try to get you to sit in the here and now. Um, and sometimes it's hard to kind of clear your mind, but if you're really focused on where you're at here and now, it kind of makes it a little easier to kind of clear your thoughts of things that just bog you down throughout the day.
yeah, love that. Well, these have been our top 10 self-care picks.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I love them.
I love them too. Oh, I have one bonus one.
Okay.
Human connection,
Human
if at all
connection.
possible. I'm a little bit of a hermit, a little bit of a loner sometimes, and I can be pent up in my room by myself, not talking to anyone for a very long time, but just reaching out to a loved one, calling them, just checking on them, whether it be a text or a call, Surprisingly can boost my mood at times. So that's why it's like an honorable mention.
Okay.
It's not something I do regularly.
It's not something you do.
Reaching
You
out to
don't?
people is something I do regularly. I'm trying to do
Okay.
better.
Okay.
But it is something I would like to work on because I do notice the effects sometimes. I'm like, wow, I can really kind of just like, I would love to connect with like a friend, whether it be a text, phone call,
Yeah.
going out for drinks, something as simple as that. It can really boost my mood.
Okay.
So that's why I wanted to mention honorable mention, not something I do regularly, but something I probably should do more
Came with the extra credit.
of.
Look at you.
I'm trying to be an overachiever.
Great. So let's transition then into our love it or leave it for the week.
Awesome.
Love it or leave it.
Love it or leave it. Okay, I'll start.
Okay.
So this week I am loving Mabel's new album.
Mabel.
So Mabel is a British artist. She when she first came out a couple years ago, her music felt very kind of like R&B soulful pop, and she's kind of transitioned into kind of like the more of the dance pop genre. And I love both. And I
Mm-hmm.
love Mabel, and I think she's fun. Shout out to her and all the UK artists. So love that. And leaving, as much as I love the summer, I don't like summer heat. I don't like sweating. I don't like being out in the sun. It's just a lot going on. The sun it's really harsh sometimes. I'm just like, I don't like sweating when I'm exercising. So if I'm walking down the street and sweating, I'd rather leave that.
Yeah.
So appreciate the summertime, not so much the sweating bit, but that's just what I'm going to leave this week.
It's such a short season, though.
It's a short
We're
season.
not leaving summer. We're leaving summer sweat.
We're leaving summer sweat,
Okay.
which feels extensive in the South because it's just hotter for a longer period of time.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring acknowledgement to that. And if you don't see me outside as much during the daytime, that's why.
Okay. That's fair. Alrighty. So something I'm loving this week is discovering a new city. So we've been in London for some time,
hmm
and I love exploring just somewhere I've never been before. I think it brings a new energy to the daily life. Um, and specifically, I discovered a pastry shop that has the most delicious raspberry Danish. It is not on my gluten-free diet. However, I'm still loving it because it's just really tasty and it reminds me of a bakery back home. So I think even when you're somewhere new, it's kind of nice to find those parallels between things that are familiar. And I found one of those things. So I'm a happy camper.
Shout out to Jolene.
Yeah, it's called Jolene.
Shout out to Jolene. Where is it at in London?
It's in Shoreditch and it's on Red Church Street and it's so fucking cute. And it's like the size of a closet. You walk in, you self-serve your pastry, put it in a little to-go bag,
hmm
and then you can order a coffee if you're sexy. And then you can sit outside or you can walk with it. But I like to be seated for my meals.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's nothing like a good coffee shop that you feel at home and comfortable at.
yeah,
So that's good.
I love it.
A great way to begin your London adventures.
I love, love, love it. What I'm not loving though is this full moon in Capricorn. So full moons seriously fuck with my sleep.
Mm.
Like the pattern is uncanny. It's scientific fact now.
hmm
Like 2 to 3 days before and sometimes even after a full moon, I just cannot sleep.
Oh.
And I've been talking to some of my other friends who are kind of tapped into the moon cycles as well. And it's a collective consensus that sleep is not good.
Mm.
So I'm ready for this to kind of move through,
hmm
pass, as it always does, every 4 weeks. But yes, I'm not really into this full moon.
Do you have like a monthly issue with the full moon and sleeping, or is it just because the full moon's in Capricorn?
It depends. I feel like the super moons, the ones that are closest to the Earth,
Yeah.
are more intense. So I feel like the impact is greater. I would say that For the last year or two, I've just been much more aware of it, and like it tracks.
Mm.
It tracks.
It's a little tough.
It is tough,
It's almost like a secondary Mercury retrograde.
but different.
Yeah. Either way, it messes up with your daily flow.
It does. And we know that without my 9 hours of sleep, it's not going to be an optimal day.
Yeah, we're definitely going to leave the full moon
This one in particular.
in Capricorn
Yeah,
right now.
she gone.
Bye. Awesome. Okay. Well, do we have anything else to add?
I don't think so. Do you want to give us an outro?
Let's do it. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, rate and review us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, and tune in to us every Wednesday to hear the things that make us more us, and hopefully you can learn a little bit about something that can make you more you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.